The man decided to spend a night by the pond on the edge of the forest. The last rays of the sun were painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. As he sat on a wooden bench beside the still water, lost in his thoughts, the forest around him was dense, the tall trees forming a canopy that blocked out most of the light. But for the man, the darkness was comforting, providing a soothing backdrop to his peaceful solitude. He had come here to escape the noise and chaos of the city, to find solace in the quiet embrace of nature. As the minutes turned into hours, the darkness deepened, and the only sounds that could be heard were the gentle lapping of the water and the chirping of crickets. The man heard a noise deep in the trees, a noise that made his heart skip a beat. It sounded like footsteps, yet he was certain he was alone in this part of the forest. He strained to listen, trying to identify the sound, but it was lost in the rustle of leaves. Was it a wild animal? If so, why did it stop suddenly? Or was he truly alone in this dark, silent wood? These questions echoed in his mind, but there were no answers. The forest remained silent, keeping its secrets close. The man tried to calm his racing heartbeat, told himself that it was just his imagination playing tricks on him. But then, just as suddenly as it began, the sound started again. This time closer, as if whatever was out there was getting nearer. The man held his breath, his eyes wide with fear as he tried to make out the shape of the footsteps. It was then that he saw it, or rather he saw something. A dark, dripping figure was climbing up a tree just beside him. The moonlight caught the wet skin, making it glisten like polished metal. The man's blood ran cold. What he saw was undeniably human, yet it was like nothing he had ever seen before. The figure stood among the branches, and for a moment there was silence, heavy and thick, like the darkness all around them. The man couldn't move, couldn't breathe. All he could do was stare in petrified silence at the being in the tree. Then, as if emerging from a nightmare, the figure began to descend the tree, moving slowly, deliberately toward the bench where the man sat frozen with terror. Every step the figure took was like a hammer blow to the man's heart. He wanted to scream, to run, but his body seemed locked in a vice-like grip of fear. Suddenly the man came to his senses. Adrenaline surged through him, jolting him out of his paralysis. He scrambled to his feet and ran as fast as he could away from the pond, away from the terrifying figure in the tree. He didn't dare look back. He didn't want to see what might be chasing him in the darkness. As he ran, he could hear his own heavy breathing, the sound of deafening roar in his ears. The forest, which had seemed so peaceful just moments before, loomed over him like a menacing giant, its darkness pressing in on all sides. He stumbled and fell, but quickly got back on his feet and kept running until he saw the lights of his home in the distance. When he finally reached his house, his hands were shaking. He fumbled with his keys, but eventually got inside and slammed the door shut. He bolted it from the inside, leaning his trembling body against the door. Only when he heard the pounding of his heart slowly begin to calm down, did he realize how close he had been to a terrible fate. He had never told anyone about that night, not even his closest friends and family. The memory of the terrifying figure in the tree beside the pond was seared into his mind, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the edge of his perception.